Garden tour, 9/11/2023. Oh, it's a beautiful day out today. Pretty overcast. We got some thunderstorms that rolled through last night. But, I mean, the garden's looking really lush. Some things have passed by. Some things are just getting going really well. You know, it's been a difficult year. But, you know, it's also been a great year. Just like any year, some years are better than others as far as crops go. But you can see here the cover crop I planted here is loving all the moisture. I mean, the marigolds are just blowing up here. You can see it's marigold season. Oh, let's see, what have we got here? We've got my original kale bed here, which is still producing. We've got a pumpkin here. I think that's probably a sugar pie pumpkin. It's got a little remnants of some diatomaceous earth that I put on this kale that the pumpkin is running through. The cabbage worms have just been, and various other insects have been loving it, so I'm trying to knock them down with some organic methods. We'll see how it goes. It's helped a little. It's not the end-all be-all. The bugs will win. Here's another pumpkin here. This is probably a Big Mac's pumpkin right here. There's some more Big Mac's pumpkins over here. You can see the cover crop of rye and peas is looking pretty good down here. Here's my original chard bed. That's also still producing. The leeks are getting bigger. I'm going to have to harvest some of those one of these weeks. You can see there are watermelon plants, and we've got some flowers, but I don't know if they're going to amount to much. You know, it's early September. I don't know if there's really enough time for those to mature and to get much out of them. You can see we've got jalapenos. I already harvested for the week, but there's some little ones that'll come next week. We've got another Three Sisters type thing happen over here. It's only two sisters, but you know, there's some peppers here. This is not the two sisters I was talking about. I'll show you that over here. We've got an okra flower and a squash flower. Squash, actually this is probably, it's hard to tell which vine is which, but that's probably actually a pumpkin. Probably the Jack B. Little pumpkin that's right below the okra plant. That's pretty neat. The pumpkin is climbing the okra. Oh, let's see what else we've got here. Actually, I should probably harvest a few of these okra pods before I take off today. Today's market day. I'm just here early, buttoning up a couple loose ends, grabbing a couple last things before harvesting a couple last things before market. The cherries are doing pretty good, but the slicers and the Paul Robeson heirlooms are, they're on their last leg, but it's been a little wetter than they like, so they would have liked a lot more sun. I guess I could probably chop that one down, but oh yeah, look at that leek. That thing is ready. That'll be coming to the market with me next week. The ginger is still doing awesome. as you can see. I mean, so that's got to be probably a rhizome underneath that whole thing there. So that's a decent size piece of ginger right there. And there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 10 little seedlings that I planted earlier this summer. So that'll be a nice ginger haul. That's cool. I'm glad to see ginger does pretty good in Maine. Look at this nasturtium. They're just blowing up. Let's get a shot at that from the other direction. Stepped on a cantaloupe. I didn't break it. So there's a couple nasturtiums, Thai basil, and that wild thing right there is a Malabar spinach. It's pretty yummy. It's new to me. It's a green that does fairly good in the heat in the summer. You can see it's really, I actually trimmed off all the smaller shoots and leaves last week, harvested them and ate them, and it's coming back with a vengeance. So it's not ready to be done for the year yet. And here you can see my bush tomatoes. Lots of tomatoes, so I'm happy about that. They're also, they got quite a bit of blight, but you know, it's been a blighty year, so hopefully we don't get an early frost and these tomatoes have a chance to turn red for me, because there's quite a few tomatoes in these bush tomato plants. We've also got peppers over here in the second pepper planting. We've got some, those look like shishitos right there probably. We've got, oh, these are probably, oh, that might be a shishito right there too. I don't know, I'm going to leave it, because I've also got, I thought I planted Carmens at the top of this bed. Actually, that might be the Carmens down there. Well, you know, whatever peppers they are, I'll take them. I don't think I really, actually that one, I don't think I need any more this week, so yeah, you can see, I think this might be the Carmens, because it's a pepper that's shaped like that. I've got my melons in here and the pepper plants. Bush tomatoes are, look at the blossoms on these things. Man, that'd be nice if those all turned to tomatoes. Not really sure that's going to happen, but if we get the right weather conditions, I guess maybe. Here's another really healthy pepper plant. I think this is probably a shishito. Kind of looks like it right there. You can see here again, bush tomatoes, very healthy. This is my second planting of green beans. It's going gangbusters. I actually have like 10 pounds left from last week, so I haven't even harvested them yet. I don't think I'm going to have time to do it before market this week, so I'm just going to sell the other ones and come back either tomorrow or the next day and do a big couple-hour bean harvest. Here's the second planting of beets and carrots. Got my first carrots out of this bed this week. They're big and yummy. Some big okra plants. I don't see any flower. Oh yeah, there's some flowers going to open on those. There was what was my first planting of beans. Well, half of it's still there. The Roma green beans I left. We're still getting a little off that each week, but I planted my final planting of Swiss chard and kale in the spot where the first planting of French style green beans came out of. Took a few more Napa cabbage out of this bed this week. I'm getting a couple of those every week. Here's the pitiful little purple cabbage bed. as I've said before, next year is definitely a year to invest in some row cover. There's a pretty okra flower. Oh yeah, there's the slightly less pitiful, but pretty pitiful green cabbage bed. I'm harvesting a few small green cabbages out of that every week. So, you know, something's better than nothing. But that's another candidate for row cover next year. Here's my first beet planting. Still taking some beets out of this every week. Here's the initial carrot planting here. Still getting some carrots out of these every week. There's some stinging nettle. Here is a second planting of cabbage. That's getting chowed down too by the bugs. You know, hopefully they share. We'll see. Here is my second planting of shishito peppers. Got some pretty good blossoms and some tiny peppers in there. There's a Thai basil I stuck in there. And we're finally, off these sick little zucchini plants, we're starting to get some zucchini. I harvested 2 or 3 this week. I think that's the most I've harvested in a week yet this year. As far as zucchini, the summer squash is doing just fine. The yellow zucchini is also starting to come along. Let's see what else we've got here. The cosmos are looking beautiful. Here's that bed that I seeded with lettuce and scallions. I think some of it took. I messed up my irrigation a couple days after I planted it, and just so happened to be the 2 of the hottest days of the year, so I'm not sure whether we're going to get great germination in this bed or not, but you know, we'll hope for the best. There's the cosmos again. These are pretty flowers. Let's see if we can get a good picture of some of these gazanias. Or gazania, I don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest with you. There's a pretty one. There's another one. If it was sunnier, they'd open up more and show themselves a little bit more, but, you know, they're still pretty. Let's see what else we've got over here. There's some nice looking romaine. Some of the lettuce that I just stuck in randomly throughout the garden. You can also see that my fall planting of peas is starting to germinate here. So that's cool. We'll have some fall peas. You can also see just above these pink cosmos here that I pulled all the yellow and red onions this past week. Well, not all of them. There's a couple tiny ones that I left. But this bed, or these 2 beds, will be my garlic beds for this fall. So let's get a slightly different vantage. Oh yeah, I left the stevia plant. That is a yummy plant. It's got a sweetness to it. It's almost anisey. It's yummy. I like it. Here is the part of my first planting of cucumbers. It's still producing a little bit, but it's on its last leg at this point, as you can see. And some more stevia. I like it. It's a really yummy natural sweetener. So you can see these two beds right here, which were my red onion and my yellow onion beds, will continue the full 50 feet, and that'll be two 50-foot beds of garlic this fall. And that's what that little bit of compost is left for. Here we've got, here's a dahlia, which is full of buds. The flowers are really delicate. That's one thing I've learned about dahlias. It's, I don't know, I'll have to practice a little bit. That guy wanted that dahlia more than I did. Yeah, so I'll have to practice handling them, learning how to create bouquets with them, because they're really delicate. The petals fall out really easily. So we've got these multi-head, I can't remember the variety of sunflower they are, but the pollinators are loving them. It's, if you could hear the buzzing of the bees, maybe you can, but it's happening, that's for sure. It's full of pollinators right now. Let's give that another walkthrough, get the full effect. So this is the zinnias. There's some dahlias behind. There's some sunflowers behind that. There's also some cosmos in there. The dahlias are, excuse me, the zinnias are the star of the show right now. So, you know, looks kind of like a early September garden. So that's the tour. I think that's about the gist of it. So, see you next time. Happy growing.